Thank you so much for coming on, Chase. It's a
Thank you,
pleasure.
Michelle.
It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Oh,
As I read your bio, we'll be talking, by the way, about storytelling and public speaking. And as I read the bio, we talk about workshops, we talk about webinars, we talk about conferences. That is the life of so many of us as entrepreneurs. So
yes.
it's a very fitting conversation to have. So, as we jump right in, why is it important for entrepreneurs to be able to articulate well so that they can more better deliver to their audience on the solution that they're providing?
That's a great question. And thanks again for having me. Man, as entrepreneurs, we're trying to herd cats when we speak in front of a group of people. It's like boiling water on the stove. Now you want your audience to whistle, right? So you want a kettle that's designed so that they whistle in the direction you want them to go. But so often when we don't think about how we are presenting our ideas, how we are thinking about what we want to say, or being really specific on how we word our solutions that we're offering to their problems, it's like leaving that pot open. You
Yeah.
never are going to direct the steam in the direction you want to go.
Wow.
That steam is going to dissipate in every which way. And so learning to articulate your solution for their problem is the skill of getting your audience to whistle in the direction you want them to go. But that takes two steps. You've got to know what you are communicating and what you are offering. But before you can do that, you've got to know their problem as well. You have to know what is causing them to stay up at night. You got to know what is causing them pain. And then when you know that, when you know your audience and you know their problem, then you can learn to articulate your solution.
Lovely. Thank you, Chase. And I love that analogy of the whistle because so often it's almost as if you have the pot open. And I've had to learn that as well because we want to be almost everything we're seeing online.
Mhm.
Persons are saying, okay, talk this way, identify the problem first, identify the solution first, tell your story first. And sometimes persons get really confused. And so if you have a kettle, you're directing the steam where you want it to go. So I absolutely love it. So entrepreneurs, ensure that you know your audience, you know what's keeping them up at night, and you're saying it in their language. So we talk about storytelling, and for some of us, this word of storytelling almost would appear as, it's for persons who write books and they're talking about their book. But what is storytelling, and why is that important, and how does it impact the success of an entrepreneur's journey?
Wow, yeah, that's so crucial for us to get. Storytelling is the ability to create an experience in your audience's mind. Maybe that's an emotional experience. Maybe it is a feeling of ambition or success. Maybe it is something that triggers in them that says, I need to take action now. But whatever that is, it's wrapped inside the story. Now, story has forms and has certain rules, and it's possible to learn those rules so that you can equip your audience. Learn those rules, apply it to your business, to your setting, so that you can equip your audience for their success. But ultimately, what it boils down to is storytelling is about creating something inside of your audience, something that they feel and respond to. And I think that's really because we love stories as humans, don't we?
Yeah.
That's the great thing about storytelling, is that we love stories. We don't like being sold to. We don't
That's
like
right.
being talked down on. We don't like the hard sell, being dumped with information, but we love stories. This famed rhetorician, Walter Fisher, he says, we're not, we are not Homo sapiens, creatures of wisdom. He says, we are Homo narrans, creatures of the story.
Love
And
that.
neurobiologists say that the way that we organize information in our brain is that we attach it to stories in our minds. Storytelling, the narrative, is the basic formation of memory. And so if you have a product, a solution, a service that you provide, if you connect it to a story, it's going to last for your audience.
Lovely. And it is so practical, as you share that, because if you're selling a product and you're able to talk about how that product has impacted your life, persons can relate to that. And, you see persons, even for myself, when I was saying to one of my other experts that when I post not a picture, but maybe words on social media, and I post a video, maybe I'm having some experience outside and I'm talking about how it relates to entrepreneurship. Like those for me get the most engagement. Is like persons are like, oh, I want to hear this. I want to see it. It's not okay. I think that you should do this for your business. So it's really, really relatable. And, we shouldn't think of storytelling as being complicated, but just you being your authentic self. So absolutely love it, love it, love it. So as you talk about storytelling, person might be okay, but I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do. Are there steps that are there any steps in storytelling that persons need to know about?
That's a great question. Absolutely. Storytelling is a form, and there's different forms depending on the story you want to tell. But it boils down to some basics. You need to know yourself, you need to know your audience, and you need to know what connects you to. We speak in the sphere of shared meaning. If we didn't speak the same language, it would be much more difficult to communicate.
Yeah.
And we entrepreneurs so often speak entrepreneurese. And a lot of our customers and clients don't speak that language.
Guilty of that.
So we need to learn to speak the language of our clients. That's definitely the first step. The second is we need to know their problems so that when we articulate a problem in the stories that we tell, they identify with it. By keeping our problems in that space of shared meaning, shared understanding, then when we tell the story of our problems being solved, it's more likely that our audience is going to see themselves in us.
Awesome. And is there a difference between public speaking and storytelling, or are they one and the same?
Storytelling is a form of public speaking, I think, and it's a tool. It's a tool of public speaking. Um, Public speaking is maybe the format, right? When you
Yeah.
open your mouth in front of a public. Now you could do storytelling through a commercial, you could do storytelling through a movie, a book, and you can also do it when you speak in front of people. You can learn the tools of storytelling, whether you are pitching at a new client meeting, or you are at an industry conference and you're trying to grow your database or your clientele or your networking. You can use storytelling anytime. It doesn't have to be behind a podium and with a mic in front of you.
I love that. And I want you to talk a little bit more about that, because when we talk about storytelling, a lot of persons may not know, like you were mentioning now, how can I use storytelling? Do I need to have a mic? Do I need to be on social media? So talk to us a little bit more about, what are the different ways persons can tell their stories?
Absolutely. Anytime you want to connect with someone, whether that is to start a relationship, whether that's to call them to action, to do something, buy right now or sign up for my conference, you can use storytelling. We use storytelling to entertain, to inform, to persuade. And so it's about learning how to craft memorable, convincing, and emotive, right? Persuasive stories. Then you can adapt it. Once you know those tools and those structures and frameworks, you can adapt it to any situation. So public speaking is certainly a part of that, and learning the skills of public speaking is certainly a part of that. That will help you whether you are speaking to a boardroom or you're, one-on-one pitching just one other client, or you're getting interviewed for a podcast, or wherever you are speaking in front of people, public speaking is helpful. Storytelling is a tool you can weave through those situations.
Oh, nice. It sounds like a science.
Yeah.
What a fun science. And as you're talking, I'm thinking about the different experiences, that I've had. And I'm thinking, oh, this person was utilizing storytelling, and when we go back to what you were talking about entrepreneurs speaking, entrepreneurs, I need to create
Yeah.
speaking that word. I've experienced that through my growth, even as an entrepreneur, because I was sharing with Chase audience before that I'm in strategic planning in my corporate job, and they understand the language. But when I come here and I say, oh, I'm doing strategic planning, everybody was like, what is strategic planning? And then there were so many other persons who were doing the same thing, but everybody calls it something different. So it's understanding the challenge persons are having. I want to grow my business. Okay, I help you grow your business. As simple as that. And then I can implement the same tools I use, but just use the language of the client or the person. And
Yeah.
then I share just now about storytelling and just using your different things that are happening. I just saw somebody online where they were sharing something about their daughter,
Hmm.
and it was, oh, as a tomboy, I never thought I would be able to relate to having a daughter. I wanted a boy. But she shares so much about her relationship with her child. As a person looking at, I'm like, oh, that's parenting skills and adapting and change. So I'm getting it, that there's so much that we can do with storytelling without just thinking about it as something we need to sit down and structure. I'm looking at the trees. What can I say about the trees? So Chase. And I know in your bio you spoke about preparing persons for conferences, workshop, or webinars, but there are different platforms that persons use. Do you think that entrepreneurs can survive this era without storytelling?
I think they can. I don't know that they should try. If hmm, if you think of storytelling as a form of getting your message out there, whether that's marketing or branding, then storytelling is going to be so crucial to what you're doing, especially as an entrepreneur or solopreneur. If you think of storytelling as a way to make connections with others, where in your business would you suffer by making connections? Probably nowhere. You're only going to flourish more the more connected you are. And so storytelling is a vehicle for that too. If you were thinking just public speaking, you don't need to be keynoting top conferences in order to be a successful public speaker. But if you're watching this, you're probably a purpose-driven entrepreneur. And uh, how much more impact will you have? How much more amplification would you have if you're standing in front of a stage of 100, 150, 1,000 people talking about and convincingly, winsomely, persuasively inviting the audience into your purpose, that thing that drives you? So storytelling combined with public speaking can be an accelerant to your business success, especially for those who lead from their heart, the purpose-driven among us.
Yeah,
Because when we have the opportunity to share our heart, especially through the tools or through the form of storytelling, we're going to be memorable, and people are going to want to partner with us.
love it, love it. You're speaking to my heart by just saying that, because if we don't, I completely agree that if we don't look at it as something that we, oh, this is another thing that I need to learn to do. But as you said, if I'm able to connect with persons, to tell them more about the purpose that I have, and to get them on board and to pour into them, then I'm going to see this as an art that I just get to do. And as I said, is there do you recommend persons do any form of training, whether in public speaking? I know storytelling is a form of public speaking or storytelling. Do you recommend that persons do any form of training or just be themselves?
I'd be lying if I said no. As someone who trains storytellers and public speakers. But look at it this way, it's a skill. Who becomes proficient at a skill without practice and without a guide, a coach, someone who is willing to give feedback, willing to apprentice you, to show you where you can improve. Think of any athlete who hasn't had a skilled coach in their life. Storytelling is the same. We build on the success of others when we're able to be held accountable, able to share our ideas, able to learn from others. It's absolutely going to fast track the ways in which you want to amplify your message if you ask for help in this area. Because what are we going to do otherwise? We're going to have a speaking engagement come up and think, well, I've kind of talked about this and I don't need to prepare that much. And you will miss the opportunity to tell a persuasive story. You might rush your preparation. You might not put that much work into the slide deck that you're going to use to pitch, or you might downplay that this is a time for a story. But when you work with someone who's trained in speaking and delivering and trained in the tools of storytelling, you're going to start to see through their eyes
Yeah.
and notice where stories can make connections in your life.
Yes, I love it, Chase. And as you shared, I did a public speaking course some time ago. And when I think back, although it was about how I present myself, whether at a conference or just us having this conversation, there were some things that really stood out. Whether it's wearing the colors of the organization that I'm going to speak at, or whether it's sending a form to make sure I'm capturing all the needs of the organization. So I'm speaking to them. How do I craft my message? How do I put my pointers together? So I really do agree, and just encourage persons. You may see persons, whether they're online or on social media or doing their webinars. It doesn't mean they did not prepare. It doesn't mean they
Right.
didn't take the time. They have taken the time so often to prepare that they just look like they're flowing and it's working together.
Yes.
But they prepared and they were trained. So I support that 100%. You never know what you don't know. So go out there and get it done. And, I'm asking all my experts this question. As an entrepreneur, what is the most important question that one should ask oneself or themselves?
Hmm. That is an important question. I think, you need to ask yourself, why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? Simon Sinek has the book Start With Why, and I think he drills that down well and has captured something important. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, you'll continue doing it even when it's hard, even when you face opposition, and it will come out in how you talk about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Learn to express not just what you're doing, but why you're doing it. People are going to latch onto it.
Yes, love it. And when you said that, that's just now, it just reminded me when I'm doing plans, developing plans for entrepreneurs, I start with them, even just saying what your vision is, which is really your why.
Yes.
Because in the times when things get rough,
Mhm.
and they will, and they get tough, you tap back into your why. Okay, why am I on this journey? What did I hope to achieve? Who did I hope to impact? I may not be able to do it face to face because we're in a pandemic, but it's still so much connected to me that I find a way to still do it. And
Yeah.
so, absolutely love that, guys. So always remember why. Remember your why. And if your why is so important to you and you want to communicate and you want to talk to persons, then you will get trained and you will master the art of public speaking and using storytelling as a method or a vehicle to share with your audience. And as we close, I'm going to give Chase an opportunity to talk about what he does. If there's anything that he's offering to you guys, that you can check him out on his website, and we'll go ahead and drop the link right below this video.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that, Michelle. I love to help people craft the words that create a better world. And that's my why. What do I do and why do I do it? I think our words create worlds. And so I want to help as many people as possible to create the best world and live into the best world that they can. So I do that through holistic communication consulting, whether that is how to lead meetings or whether it is speaking in front of large audiences, your signature keynote talk that you take everywhere, your story on display, or whether it's how to pitch to, I've helped nonprofits get more funding, and I've helped entrepreneurs get funding as well, or new clients in their pitches. I love to help people with those words. But one thing I'm offering now for the audience and participants inside the Purpose Driven Entrepreneur Conference is a storytelling workshop. It's a free workshop that I'm launching soon. And so if you go to the link that we've shared, you'll have the opportunity to learn to craft your story in this free workshop that will be made available. And that is a technique, a tool you can take anywhere and apply to any setting or situation. And hopefully I want to equip you to begin to create the world worth living with your words.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chase. So guys, remember, go ahead, click the link. The workshop is coming up. Enter your details. So as soon as it's time to launch, you'll get the information, and you don't want to miss out on getting the knowledge that you need to tell your story, to connect with your audience. You have the purpose within you, and your purpose is waiting. Another person said to me, not getting the tools you need to connect with the people you are here to serve is like stifling the baby. So you want to birth it. You want to make sure you're taking care of it as it grows. Thank you so much, Chase, for being here, and thank you for pouring into the audience. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And I was helped. I have a whole page of notes. So
Thank you, Michelle.